Well, they turn your they turn your mic off. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ed Scott, and on behalf of the First Unitarian Fellowship of Wilmington, I welcome you to our online service. If you're a first-time visitor, I encourage you to visit our website, firstuuwilm.org, to learn more about this congregation. I also invite you after the service to join us for coffee or tea in Parish Hall immediately behind the sanctuary. Here at First Unitarian, we place love at the center of our faith community, welcoming all, regardless of your origins, no matter your dreams, no matter who you love. And on this Sunday, whether you fly with the Eagles, or run with the Commanders, or frankly, just don't care, you're all welcome. Welcome. We do find that together we are stronger on our individual and collective faith journey. This morning we welcome Donna Beech, a guest musician, and Rebecca Fisher, who's our song leader. And also we welcome back Paula Maiorano, who will share lessons to be learned from Dorothy L, a noted author and Christian humanist. I do have one announcement to make this morning, and that is at the request of the board and the ET. During this time when our phone system and our buzzer at the side door are not working, please, please do not prop open that door with a coat hanger or a book or whatever else happens to be handy. Propping it open compromises the integrity of safety for the office staff and for the children who are attending the preschool here Monday through Friday. We need to respect their safety and their privacy, so please do not prop open the door. Thank you for your cooperation. Now I'm going to ask you to turn to the camera on your left and greet those who are joining us online, and then take a moment to greet the neighbors who are present around you this morning. And now, it's time to prepare your whole selves for our time of worship together this morning.
Well, Donna, I see why you requested. Visitors who have children, if you're not aware, the children are upstairs, and if you would like to join the other children, just walk to the back and someone will help you get there, your child there. It is a wonder and mystery that our paths have crossed. That in the immensity of time, in the vastness of space, we coincide here. I am in awe at the ways in which our lives intersect and intertwine, at the beauty we create when we gather. May our coming together make us more passionate, more just, more caring, and more loving. May our hearts and minds be open to this service. I'm so glad you're here. Let us remember, let us marvel at the miracle of being here right now, alive and the mystery that has brought us together.
If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to light your chalice while we light the chalice here in the sanctuary. You got it?
No. Why don't you light it?
Hear now the words of Dr. David Breeden as we light the chalice. We tender this flame, opening the book, turning to a page yet to be written, opening a story yet to be told. May we fill this fresh page wisely. May we write a new story into being. And may we together inscribe this page with hope. And now I invite you to please rise in body or in spirit for the singing of hymn 361. Enter, rejoice, and come in, and please remain standing afterwards for our unison affirmation together.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be your joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be your joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be your joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be your joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be your joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Together, let us affirm our mission. First Unitarian Church of Wilmington is a beloved community that nourishes minds and spirits, fights injustice, and transforms the world through loving action.
Each of us lives between two eternities. Each birth causes us to wonder where the spark of life comes from. That spark, which is a mysterious power that animates every living thing, that sustains what we call life. Just as we do not know where we come from when we are born, we do not know exactly where we go when we die. Between these two eternities of birth and death is our world, our life, a gift to live with purpose and meaning. Some of us call this mysterious power that animates life God. Others call this power by many other names, including mystery beyond all knowing, the source of life, creative force, or spirit of life. Others name it simply love. Some do not know what to call this power, for all names seem somehow inadequate. Yet we feel this mysterious power at the center of our unique beings. We experience it through the changes of every other living thing. Like a flame passing from candle to candle, this mysterious power passes from being to being and from generation to generation. It is the unity of the whole creation, past, present, and future. Now, despite the joyful song, each of us carries in our hearts both joy and concerns or sorrows. And this is the time in our gathered community when we share. So we always begin with our concerns or sorrows first. Our country. I'm not hearing everybody.
Our freedom.
Our freedom. Trans people. The family of Jeffrey Ferris. Our democracy. Oh, yes, immigrants. Those who lost everything in LA, and there was one I did in here. But we acknowledge all of what we carry in our hearts as our concerns. And sometimes, not always, we carry our joy at the same time as our worries and fears, concerns and sorrows. And other times we just feel joyous. So whether you're a dually motor or a joyous person today, let's share what you have.
South Korea.
South Korea.
Grandkids.
Grandchildren, yes, grandkids. I heard marriage.
Taiwan legalized gay marriage.
Gay marriage.
My niece is coming to visit.
Niece that's coming to visit, so wonderful.
Pets that bring us joy all the time.
Pets do that, like grandchildren.
My friend visiting today.
Your friend that,
Visiting today.
ah, wonderful.
Bishop Booty.
Yeah.
She was special in her courage. May we hold these sorrows or concerns, joys and happiness in the bosom of our community. We are together forming one in worship today. Amen.
In the quiet and the stillness of the morning, in the quiet and the stillness of the day, in this quiet holy place, I feel blessed peace within. In the quiet and the stillness of the morning.
Rebecca, you have one of our beautiful voices. I chose to do the reading as my meditation, so I'm moving right into Visions of Justice from Unexpected Sources. In late November and December of 2024, I felt a need to go into temporary denial to maintain a semblance of normalcy and emotional stability. It is a coping strategy I've developed over the years to mentally regroup and regain strength before confronting the reality of new challenges. I believed it would be a safe time before the arrival in January of the political storm. This brief respite occurred as I delved into several of the mysteries of Dorothy L. Sayers, a renowned author, essayist, and playwright. Writing in England between the 20th century's two world wars, Dorothy Sayers created a vision of justice with her Lord Peter Wimsey murder mysteries. Her novels and her life offer hints and perhaps clues, since they're murder mysteries, if we too wish to pursue our everyday activities as if our own lives create such a vision of justice. I was not familiar with Sayers or her work before I started reading after Thanksgiving. But one of those online reviews about her first book, Whose Body Is It?, intrigued me, because the critic did not rate it well, even though she thought it was a good mystery, because of what she considered its anti-Semitism. Spoiler alert, no. I was intrigued by what I afterwards read about Sayers, daughter of an Anglican minister, an illustrious writer, and significant author who helped define her genre and shaped the golden age of fiction in the 1920s and 30s. In later years, Sayers put her mysteries away and devoted her energy towards a translation of Dante's Divine Comedy, still considered one of, if not the best translation. Sayers also authored a theological text on creativity. I wondered if such an admired writer as Dorothy Sayers could be also anti-Semitic. Fortunately, the library provided me with the subject of the reviewer, Sayers' first novel, Whose Body Is It? I decided I would read it and make up my own mind. The anti-Semitism was, in my reading, her portrayal of the casual or socially ingrained prejudices commonly found among the British during the period she wrote. Doing a little research, I found my view was and is the commonly held one about her use of characters as irony or satire in her commentary on the society of the time. We have much in our own society inviting such satire and irony. I hope we start seeing it used more. What I found in Sayers' first novel, and four of the later ones that I read, was a recurring theme of Wimsey's struggle to find a sense of normalcy and purpose after World War I. Peter Wimsey's role as a volunteer detective provides him with purpose and direction, and is his means of coping with his trauma from the shell shock of fighting heroically in World War I. In her early novels, this battle with his trauma is sensitively revealed with descriptions of his anxiety and breakdowns, and a feeling of disconnection, even alienation, from those who have not experienced the horrors he witnessed. Dorothy Sayers was intentional about shedding light on the then often overlooked psychological impact of war. Her development of Lord Peter Wimsey's character through his determination to overcome his demons, his unwavering moral compass, and his compassion for others also highlights Sayers' belief in the human capacity for recovery and strength in the face of adversity. I personally find that an encouraging idea, since we're in that place. I believe our society does better understand the shell-shock survivors of war, especially in the Veterans and Ministers hospitals. Those of us shocked on the political front need to take note that purpose and intentionally moral life and living with compassion for others aids in recovery. Now, when writers refer to the Lord Peter Wimsey novels, they inevitably say his name in collaboration with Harriet Vane, introduced in Sayers' fifth novel, Strong Poison. We meet Harriet Vane as a self-supporting murder mystery writer on trial for the murder of her former lover. As soon as Wimsey's detective skills, a little bit of Superman here, and police capture of the real perpetrator of the dastardly deed secure her release, he proposes to her. I admit to being very surprised. I didn't see the lead up to that. And Harriet was indeed very surprised and declined. The next 5 novels include their 5-year dance, in which both characters, Peter and Harriet, had to grow individually before Harriet could accept marriage. The last of these, the only one of those 5 that I just mentioned I read, culminate in Gaudy Night. Set in an Oxford women's college, Gaudy Night is considered by many critics to be her best, and in it, Sayers' theme of women's intellectual and professional aspirations and difficulties are actually on a par, or maybe, I thought, sort of superseded the detective story. Dorothy L. Sayers grew up in Oxford, attended college there, and unfortunately, it was before the university was awarding graduation degrees to its women college attendees. The conversation between the female professors in the book will resonate with those of us who grew up before women's liberation. In that regard, we certainly do not want to revisit our past. In the next novel, and I'm going to be finished with her novels pretty soon. In the next novel, Busman's Honeymoon, in which the Peter-Harriet marriage knot is tied, Harriet grapples with the tension between her desire for independence and her feelings for Peter, ultimately finding a way to reconcile the two without sacrificing her sense of self. I was thinking if I had this when I was working in the congregations as the minister, I would have had some of those quotes in the marriage guidance material. It was great. Peter's unwavering support for Harriet's career and his willingness to engage with her on equal footing expresses Sayers' support of societal changes on gender roles between the two world wars. Boy, we need another couple of characters popular right now like they were. Their relationship is characterized by dialogue and collaboration rather than dominance and submission, a portrayal revolutionary at the time. What I have been describing is the way Dorothy Sayers embeds moral themes subtly, but effectively developing the complexity of her main characters. Her work reflects the tensions between tradition and modernity, wealth and poverty, and gender roles. And we have these issues again right now. We see in her books descriptions of oppressive social norms being shattered, which, of course, UUs of the past worked to bring about in the U.S., and maybe in England, I really don't know. Her descriptions of the balance between self and another in an intimate relationships are so aptly modern that they read as music to my heart. Of course, there are many important themes which Sayers did not write about that are very important to us today in advances of awareness on moral issues in our country. Dorothy L. Sayers wrote and lived her life with a vision of justice and participated in advances of moral issues in English-speaking countries. This is what I want for all of us. Conscious living with our talents and efforts, whatever they may be, and I'm looking out at some very talented people, always working with a vision of justice. If the moral arc of the universe is to bend towards justice, as the Unitarian minister Reverend Theodore Parker first expressed, and the Reverend Martin L. King Jr. later amplified, we all need to bring our weight to bear. We're not all talented writers in a specialty art form, but we all can contribute with how we live the story of our lives, how we reflect on contemporary times, how we create justice and visions of justice through our parenting, grandparenting, jobs, intimate and family relationships, friendships, hobbies, art forms, and human rights advocacy or volunteering, whatever we are doing here in the church. Congregation. I heard fellowship this morning, but actually our bylaws say we're a society, the Unitarian Universalist Society of Wilmington. We're our own society. I like that. Right now, the external surroundings seem chaotic to me, with shock and awe referred to as the style of the emerging powers in business and government. Recently, a Facebook member of a Unitarian Universalist Society posted a quote online by Ilya Pergozhiny relating to creative thinking. When a complex system is far from equilibrium, small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos have the capacity to shift the entire system to a higher order. Let me read that again. When a complex system is far from equilibrium, small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos have the capacity to shift the entire order to the entire system to a higher order. I found this true in my few years learning to be a marriage and family therapist. It was possible to work with a single individual in a dysfunctional family system in order to assist that person in changing his or her behavior towards health and wholeness, which thereby changed family patterns towards the same. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I might have had a hard time believing it. But I did, and maybe you have too. This is true not only in families, but when working with any integrated community, such as in an institution or a country or in a society like ours. Now, it's been many years. The people of our country have been in a struggle emphasizing different values and the way to enforce them. We do not yet know the outcome and events of the coming years, but we already know we're not in a country where leaders are expressing our religious and spiritual values at the moment. I'm talking about federal. Not even our value for competency. The people of this congregation participate as a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association, which recently clarified our core values. We know them: justice, equity, interdependence, pluralism, generosity, and transformation, all centered in love. When it comes to justice, it is justice tempered by love, or as Shakespeare wrote in The Merchant of Venice, justice tempered by mercy, a derivative of love or an understanding of love in action is mercy. So, in the new year, I emerged from my period of temporary denial and reading with an open, loving heart and mind, willing to engage with the profound uncertainty of the future with a renewed vision of justice. As I took stock, I claimed my membership here as a contribution towards the future, as I hope you all do. Each of us takes a role to support our house of faith in multiple ways, all creating a unified vision or field of justice. Just functioning as such an institution in a visible building whose signage describes us is an amazing accomplishment. Amazing. The talents of every aspect of us make an enormous contribution. Talents for business, artistic expression, advocacy, teaching, learning, discussing, and of course, Reverend Larry's preaching and worship as an art form are all an interwoven fabric of being First Unitarian of Wilmington. So, maintaining ourselves is essential, yet so is expanding our vision of justice, not necessarily by attracting more members, although that would be very nice, wonderful indeed, in fact, but in our everyday lives, let's understand and be conscious that whatever we are doing is participating in our unified field of justice, our visions of justice, and remain mindful always of that vision. Additionally, we can expand our efforts. Let's share with one another, family and friends, what we already have been doing and what we now will do. I love brainstorming. So, for instance, I've not been great on reading local news except for the obituaries. I do have feeds that tell me things, such as our governor's first executive order, which was for state agencies to prioritize the development of youth apprenticeship programs across our state. I found that so refreshing. So consequently, since I don't read a lot of newspapers, I miss a lot of local news. In my rejuvenated energy, I've brought into focus an older adage about thinking globally, but acting locally. So more local news is in my immediate future and a new alliance for action. So, more brainstorming. My vision of justice suggests we hire a Sunday caterer for ordered lunches, encourage brown bags for people who prefer their own food for dietary or budgetary reasons. After a social lunch, we disperse to different locales in the building. Maybe the library has an array of contributed current newspapers and political, educational, or economic magazines. Another room is a group of people who want to write opinion pieces or letters to the editor, and they write together and organize how they're going to get them in. There might be another who want to learn how to organize their own podcast. That's me. If anybody knows how to do it, see me. An important group could be one looking back at the McCarthy era to understand the cause of the public disillusionment that ended it. The idea is to consider what might still work to stop a demigod and advance democracy. Now, this is for me personally. I'd like to see a prayer group. For you youths who pray, because I'm one, and as I am one, I would attend. I believe we are mysteriously a part of the oneness of the great reality of the universe. Our prayers are directed thoughts and energy which amplify when we pray together in love and common purpose. Oh, there's so much we can add. I hope you'll chat about possibilities that interest you during coffee hour. We are a faith rooted in love, expressed through its core principles. But those principles can only be expressed through us, not hanging on a wall somewhere. The ripple effect of love is a dynamic force which can create positive change on both small and large scales, influence individuals, communities, and even global dynamics. Let us all be beings of love, small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos. As MLK Jr. wrote, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Blessed be the love in me. bows to the love in you. Let's join together in singing hymn number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire.
Though I may speak with bravest fire, and have the gift to all inspire, and have not love, my words are vain, as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess, and striving so my love profess, but not begin my love within, the prophet soon turns strangely thin. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits long to be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are free.
Recently, I heard a story about the child of a rabbi who every day would leave home and go off into the woods. Later in the day, he'd return. The next day, he'd go out into the woods and once again return. Finally, the rabbi asked his son, "Son, why do you go out into the woods every day?" And the son replied, "I'm looking for God." The rabbi said, "Son, God is the same everywhere." And the son said, "Well, I'm not." This led me to thinking of how I'm not the same in every place, in every time. In fact, what I'm going to say to you this morning wasn't what I had written here exactly. As I was rereading my thoughts about the stewardship moment this morning, it occurred to me that I'm different here than I've been many other places. Before I came to First U, I'd spent many years in a mainline Christian church, did many things, served on commissions, served on boards, participated in the life of the church. But it occurred to me as I was reflecting on this stewardship moment that my experience there was 1 year repeated for decades. My experience here in my time at First U, I know that I'm different. I know that I've been challenged to grow. This place is important because it nourishes. It provides sustainability. For me, it's a rudder. It brings me back. It brings me back and roots me in our core values. This is something bigger than I've experienced in other places. It brings me back to our mission and our values. That's the yes of why we're here. And I wonder, how is it for you? Are you the same everywhere? What role does this community play for you? What are the values that are here for you? I want it to remain strong. I want this community to continue to be vibrant and important, relevant in our community. That's why I believe that sharing our offerings of time, our many talents, and our money are so important, maybe more so now than ever. So I encourage you to give of those riches of time, talent, and money as you're able to keep this community in its rightful place of importance in your life, in our lives. At this time, the ushers will come forward to receive your offering. There are various ways to give, which will be displayed on the screen. And now I invite you to join me in dedicating our offering this morning together to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action. We dedicate our lives, and these are offerings. If the ushers would come forward, please. As we extinguish our chalice this morning, take the time to pause for a moment. Know that we have come home, following the warmth of this chalice and the love of community. What a great story.
May you leave with your own brainstorming on your visions of living your life in justice. May you remember the words of Julian of Norwich, who believed that when we lived in a community of love, all shall be well, all manner of thing shall be well. May you be well in your heart and in your greetings to one another. May you work on yourself as a being of love, as I do every day. And may we look at each other as our rocks, as our rocks. Let us sing number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. Thank